an hour late, coming through the skies just before 1:45 this afternoon. And now you'll see the group of dignitaries will get closer to the jet, of course, leaving Washington just a little while ago, and then they'll be greeting the president.
Something really cool. The stairs are on their way now to Air Force One. You can see them heading over. I believe there were two sets out earlier, one set out for now. So there it is, headed that way. It's a lot taller in person, I'll tell you that.
We have seen this scene play out so many times over the years. We've had so many, every president I can remember, from Ronald Reagan, even before. Of course, we've shown you the film this week of President John F. Kennedy here in Louisville, and always arriving right at Standiford Field, now Louisville International Airport. And this scene, of course, played out. The one visit everybody remembers most recently was when President Barack Obama came to town, because he too went into the heart of the city. The last time President Trump was here, he went to the fairgrounds, so the traffic was minimal. But when you go into the heart of the city, you affect everything. In fact, when he speaks at the GALT House, they're even shutting down Ohio River traffic. That means barges, and anything else will be stopped on the river. There's the presidential limousine getting into place.
Hey there,
of course,
Doug.
that
it
is
looks like
shipped.
People are starting to come down the stairs.
Okay. Here we go. We'll watch this scene now as President.
We saw Governor Matt Bevin going to the back of the plane, and now we're seeing people come down the stairs now. We've got an engine in our way, so it's hard to see heads so far, but people are certainly getting off the plane.
This is the news media. This is the press pool. They exit from the back. President Trump will exit from the front of the jet there in the upper left as they have the door open, and now the stairs get ready to go over there. And
yep, there they are.
Here we go.
Almost.
So it's now 1:57. Again, his original speech time was 2 o'clock, just to be a few minutes late. 2,500 veterans waiting for him down at the GALT House, where some of them are expected to hear him talk about the state of veterans, the veterans of VA medical centers in America. Also, a partnership between the administration and AMVETS to save veterans and their families, and other issues. They really want the president to dive in on the issues directly affecting veterans.
I want to be able to focus on that door as the president comes out, but I'll tell you what I see here is the 50 or so people that are waiting to greet him all have their phones out. We are, of course, in the digital age. Everyone is just very excited to see President Donald Trump get off of this plane.
It's always a great scene whenever a president makes his arrival here into Louisville. We don't get them that often, but President Trump, of course, has had several visits to Louisville. He used to come here way before when he was still just a New York businessman, to the Kentucky Derby, and then he campaigned here downtown Louisville as a candidate for president. And again, he's been here twice, and since then he's also been to Richmond, Kentucky, really giving Kentucky more of an importance than it has in the past many years in presidential races, and of course embracing the Republican governorship of Matt Bevin here. So Heather,
how many presidents have you seen come through Louisville?
Well, I was fortunate, and it was a much different time back then, but when I was a high school intern for WHAS, Ronald Reagan came here a couple of times, and they actually credentialed me as an intern.
Oh,
I got to
go.
Cool. I got to go when President Reagan came. Also saw him campaign on the Belvedere one time as he was a candidate for president, and the station carried that speech live. And of course, since then, we had, when I thought one of the more exciting times was when President George H.W. Bush came to Louisville, and he stayed for a while and ran the track at Male High School, and then went to the old Cardinal Stadium, which has since been torn down, where he was supporting the fairly new group at the time, Kentucky Harvest. And I want to show you video just a second here on the right of your screen. This is videotape from earlier. We're going to go back to the full screen the minute the president shows up in the doorway there. But this is Air Force One flying over downtown Louisville, captured by our photographers here in the city on top of the roof. It was such a clear day. I am sure that big jet was seen all across this community. So Heather, how
Oh,
big
it's
would you say
beautiful.
how big would you say
Thank
the crowd
goodness the
is?
thunderstorm wasn't happening now.
That's true. How large is the crowd
I would
there?
say as for the greeting crowd, yeah, I would say there are about 50 people. I do think that it's under 100, but there's people of all ages. We see kids here, we see grown adults here, we see a lot of military members here, which is an awesome thing. I'm not sure how many people are just from Louisville. I imagine people are coming from all over the Commonwealth of Kentucky to be able to see the president in a situation like this. And like you mentioned, this is his second time in Louisville as president, of course his third time in Kentucky as president. I remember I was actually in Richmond when he was there last fall promoting Congressman Andy Barr. And so he's familiar with Kentucky. He's familiar with, this tarmac, I imagine.
Let me lay out our coverage here for you as we continue to watch live Air Force One and the president getting ready to get off Air Force One. On the right of your screen right now is the American Veterans Convention. It's been underway since noon. And let's see, we see some activity there on Air Force One. But anyway, their program is well underway. They've got a lot of speakers, so I don't think they're going to have any hard time filling it. Heather French Henry, the former Miss America, very involved in Kentucky Veterans Affairs, sang the national anthem to kick off this convention about an hour ago. To lay out our coverage for you here, we will be bringing you President Trump entirety here on WHAS 11 throughout the afternoon. So if we go away for a little bit, we will be coming right back, and you will see President Trump on the air for his entire speech, which is expected to go for about an hour here at the GALT House. Then he will leave the GALT House, and then here we go.
It looks like he's coming in, Doug. Coming down the stairs alongside Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin.
Looks like he got a little bit.
There is a USA chant now coming from the crowd. You can probably hear the screams.
Now, Heather, who was there screaming
And now
the chant?
he's again. There's a bunch of people here that are, of course, in the crowd. They are tucked away in a different corner, and those are the people that were coming to chant for President Donald Trump, Doug.
Okay.
I don't know how those people were selected to be able to come here today, but I know a lot of them were walking down and very excited to be able to have this opportunity to see Air Force One in person, to see President Trump in person. The USA chant lasted for about 20 seconds or so, and I'll be interested to see if the president does come over and shake hands with some of the crowd that came this way to support him.
I'm sure they tell him, hey,
Again, I do want to go through the list of the people. Oh.
I'm sure they told him,
ahead.
hey, you're supposed to speak at 2 o'clock. Let's get moving, but you know how it goes.
Hey, you were supposed to be speaking 3 minutes ago. Yeah, but he's a man of the people. I do want to go over the list of people that he is greeting with again as soon as he got off the plane. Of course, we did see him walking down with Governor Matt Bevin. He's also being greeted by Brigadier General Jeff Wilkinson with the Kentucky Air National Guard, Colonel David Maux with the Kentucky Air National Guard, Chief Master Sergeant Shane Lagrone, State Senator Ralph Alvarado, and Dr. Jeffrey Fugate, who's a pastor of Commonwealth Baptist College, and then just a local supporter from here in Louisville named Christopher Lewis.
Okay, Ralph Alvarado, of course,
And
will
Governor
be.
Bevin's daughter, Lydia, also here.
That's right, he has his daughter with him. Ralph Alvarado will also be Matt Bevin's new running mate. It is Matt Bevin's new running mate after the governor decided to move away from Janine Hampton. Of course, that decision has been very controversial, but that's why Ralph Alvarado was there. We should tell you there's about a group of 45 to maybe 50 protesters at the GALT House.
Yeah, I would say probably 50 people. They are all asking him to come over. They are taking their hands and saying, "Come over here, come over here." It looks like he's not going to walk over, but they do have their phones up. They are waving, they are cheering. I see some American flags in the crowd, just wishing he would get a little bit closer. But he's got a schedule. He's got somewhere to be.
All right, as they get ready to take off, the presidential motorcade will then head out onto Grade Lane, then up on I-65 for the quick trip to downtown Louisville. I-65 will come to a halt, and so will all the streets that pass underneath it, like Broadway and the other streets into the city, all the way down from by the fairgrounds up into the town. And people who are on the traffic right now, who didn't know this, on the interstates right now, who didn't know this was coming, are getting ready to sit for quite a bit until they will securely get Mr. Trump into the GALT House. That'll be easy. The GALT House has had several presidents over the years give speeches there. And so, once again, we want to lay out our coverage for you. You're watching WHAS 11's live coverage, where we will continue right here on the air again when President Donald Trump reaches the GALT House in downtown Louisville. That's just a few minutes from now. Again, he won't be arriving too late, as scheduled to speak at 2:05. You will see the entire speech right here on Channel 11 and on WHAS11.com. And then our coverage will move ahead as he moves down to the SEELBACH, and we'll be on our evening news starting at 4 o'clock right now. So stay with us. We've got a full afternoon of coverage of the second presidential visit by Donald Trump, again here to speak to the American veterans. It's not a rally, but a speech on Veterans Affairs, and then the fundraiser for Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin. For now, I'm Doug Proffitt. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes, so stay with us. President Donald Trump's visit to Louisville. Hello, everyone. I'm Doug Profit. As we promised you, we are back on the air as we're going to carry President Donald Trump's address to the American veterans. The 75th American Veterans Nationals Convention being held at the GALT House in downtown Louisville. We've been watching his motorcade arrive from the airport into downtown Louisville. Dozens of cars escorting the president off I-65 into the city. And we have full team coverage of the president's visit for you this afternoon. Tyler Emery is right now live outside the GALT House where people have gathered to protest the arrival of the president. Tyler?
Hey there, Doug. Yeah, right now I'm right outside the side of the GALT House. You can hear there's all kinds of chanting around me right now. There are both groups of protesters and groups of President Trump supporters here right now. We have not seen sight of his motorcade yet. This group here off to my left has gathered here in front of the GALT House awaiting the arrival of his motorcade. And you can hear those chants are going back and forth. Both sides are trying to drown out the other right now. There's also music playing, and everyone is holding up posters and right now just really waiting for the arrival of the president to the GALT House. As I said, we have not seen his motorcade arrive yet, and we do not know where his motorcade will be entering for him to walk into the GALT House. Right now we are on the side of the GALT House, and like I said, we have not seen his motorcade yet, so we're going to keep an eye out here out front right now next to all of the protesters, and we'll be letting you know as soon as we can see his motorcade arriving, which we expect to be shortly. Doug, as you said, we saw his motorcade leaving the airport and heading here downtown just a bit ago, so we are expecting him to arrive very shortly, and it sounds like cheers. But we cannot tell where his motorcade is.
Thank you very much.
All right, Doug, like I said, we're going to keep an eye out.
Judging by past visits of presidents to the GALT House, most likely they will never see President Trump. There is a way to enter the GALT House from River Road down below, and he can get in securely. Chris Williams, our political editor, is inside. He's been covering the American Veterans Convention, which started at noon today, where the president will be getting ready to speak. Chris, we watched that large motorcade rush into the city. Judging by the timing of what we watched on our live cameras, President Trump should be there at the GALT House, probably coming in from the underground side.
He should be in the room momentarily. As I look over my shoulder, I just saw some and put what looked to be like a box of pens on the table and desk you see behind us, and they've moved some of the press pool in to the area, the little corral there in front of the stage where the president will speak to this AMVETS 75th Annual Convention. This room has been waiting for the president to arrive for several hours. About an hour and 10 minutes ago, they heard from a speaker they thought the president was going to follow. That speaker finished her speech about her husband, who had been a soldier, who had suffered from issues with PTSD, and they were told, wait a little bit, the president was running behind schedule. Waiting as I look over my shoulder here is this room that is to seat about 2,000 people here at the GALT House, to see if I see any additional movement. I see one of the commanders off to this side of the stage here, but he does not seem to be yet working over towards his way over towards the stage. People here, not sure exactly what the laughter was behind us here, but this room is to seat about 2,000 veterans. Doug, I can tell you they housed it for 2,000. They've moved some chairs out. There are a few dozen off to my left that are not filled, but there are probably 1,500 people in this room. Again, this is the AMVETS 75th Annual Convention. This organization works with veterans and their families to work on things like health care and education, money for veterans issues. It's unclear what the governor may sign this afternoon, but I've been keeping an eye on that stage since this morning when we set up about 6 a.m. and I noticed that desk and the chair there and wondered if he's going to sign something here, whether it will be a presidential proclamation or a bill that may be out there. You might remember just a few months ago at another appearance in our region, we went up to the NRA convention in Indiana and the president signed something there in front of that crowd. It's not unheard of for him to take advantage of a situation where he travels into and sign a piece of legislation or a proclamation that would mean something to the audience. Been speaking with a lot of the veterans here, the veterans' families who are here, members of AMVETS from across the country. I spoke with a woman who was from North Dakota. I asked her what she wanted to hear from the president as he speaks to this group this afternoon, and she says she really hopes that he focuses on legislation, whether it be something they can do with Veterans Affairs, or whether it be a bill helping soldiers, airmen, Marines, as they leave the service, get the education they need to move on to another career. She's hoping that he avoids getting into politics, but as you know, at every stop, you just never know what you're going to hear from the President of the United States, and politics typically does play some role in his comments as he goes, because he does speak off the cuff. One big question whether the president will address here today, it's unknown, is the new VA Medical Center on the east end of Jefferson County, a project that Leader Mitch McConnell has said will see its money finally, after decades of talk, in the next fiscal budget for the United States, the U.S. budget. And we're waiting to hear whether President Trump mentions that today, Doug, as we wait for him here at the GALT House.
Chris, I'm wondering if you would also address maybe some of the news headlines today as we came on the air here. ABC News is reporting that 2 U.S. servicemen in Afghanistan were killed today, and of course he's speaking to 2,500 veterans there.
Yeah, in fact, they had thought that it would be over 2,000. They told me there were roughly 2,000 chairs in this room, but really there's going to be a few less than 2,000 in this room. But crowd size doesn't matter. You know, we talk about issues like that, I would imagine that he will maybe address that, but you just don't know what he's going to address. I've been told by some that the talks of him coming to the 75th Annual AMVETS Convention had been in the works for weeks, if not months. It was finalized just as we heard about the other event taking place this afternoon, which is later this afternoon at the SEELBACH, which is the fundraiser for Governor Matt Bevin. You saw Matt Bevin with the president as he left Air Force One. As we look over my shoulder, and I don't know if, Doug, if you can take that feed from the podium that we see, or if you can see it, it does appear that some of the Secret Service has now moved around the corral area. I see some photographers in the corral that were with the press pool that arrived, and then off to the left I see someone that I recognize that does a lot of work with Governor Matt Bevin. So we know that the motorcade has arrived here, and we're waiting for him to walk in. A side note there, Doug, some of the music that we're starting to hear seems to be the playlist that the president had when he was on the campaign trail or at other stops since he's been president.
Okay, again, Chris, we watched that motorcade move through I-65 downtown about 10 minutes ago, so the president should be there inside the GALT House. And even though this is the campaign season, we want to tell you that AMVETS bills itself as a nonpartisan membership group representing the interests of more than 20 million military veterans and their families nationwide. So this is not considered a rally or a campaign rally at the GALT House today. This was scheduled for the president to address veterans. Dennis Tang is now south of the GALT House. He's just a few blocks down 4th Street outside the historic SEELBACH Hotel, where the president will have that private fundraiser for Governor Matt Bevin. And Dennis, do you have any protesters there? What's the scene around that area of the city?
Well, Doug, I've seen probably about 2 or 3 protesters at the max since I've been out here since about noon. A lot of people have gathered here, maybe a few dozen. Most of the people I've talked to here, though, they say they aren't actually here supporting the president or protesting against him. Most of them say they were just downtown, saw the commotion, wondered what was going on, and decided they'd stay around to see a piece of history. But we've been out here for a little bit. A lot of these people here say that they just want to see the president come in. They're not sure which entrance he's going in now. But again, like Doug, like you said, he will be here later this afternoon for that fundraiser for Governor Bevin. Now, if you take a look over here, you see most of downtown here has been blocked off. There's police, armed security everywhere, making sure that this place is as secure as possible. You see the barricades go as far down up to about 4th Street Live here. We're here at 4th and Ali, and so this place is pretty much locked down. We're here essentially cordoned off across the street from the GALT House, not the GALT House, the SEELBACH. We've seen a lot of people go in and out there for that, in preparation for that fundraiser. But again, a lot of people out here hoping to catch a glimpse of the president. We'll continue to update you as we get more. Send it back to you.
Okay, Dennis, thank you very much. We've got every exit and entrance covered for you today here on WHAS 11 News. As our special report coverage is going to continue right through the president's speech. So if you're just tuning us in, we're going to be on the air here for a while. We've got everything covered at the GALT House and at the SEELBACH. On the backside of the SEELBACH is a very secure entrance for the president to get inside, and that's where KRISTIN GOODWILLIE is joining us live tonight to set the scene there in that alleyway area. KRISTIN?
That's right, Doug. It's a different scene from Dennis. Not really that many people. You can see I'm on Chestnut between 4th and 5th, and take a look down that alley. Those tents are secured. There are police everywhere in these alleyways. No vehicles are allowed into that alley, and those tents are pretty common when presidents come to different cities. This alley is normally used as a shortcut between people going to different businesses, and so you can see there is still walking. Chestnut right here is open, but there are a lot of police. These cars in front of us, police are right here by this tree, and so they are deciding whether we don't know at this time what the route is going to be, but we do know that there are two. Dennis is at the front and I'm here at the back where there is that tent. So we will definitely update you on when we know more about that route. Doug?
All right, KRISTIN, thank you very much. And we want to remind you, a programming note, due to our special report coverage here, General Hospital will be re-airing at 1:35 in the morning on Thursday morning. Say again, I'm sorry, Ashley, where do you want to go next? Tyler Emery. Let's go back down to the GALT House. That's where Tyler Emery is covering the protesters once again as we set the stage for President Donald Trump to speak here. He's now about 35 minutes running late. Tyler?
Hey there, Doug. Yeah, we're still outside the side of the GALT House here, and protesters have not stopped. If you had tuned in earlier, that you can still hear those chants going. Like I said, they are from both supporters and opposition to President Trump. They're going back and forth right now. They're continuing
Tyler,
to chant,
thank you very much.
signs,
Let's go live to the GALT House now.
Really thrilled to be here with thousands of America's proudest and toughest and most extraordinary patriots, the incredible veterans of AMVETS. We love our veterans. AMVETS. Thank you very much. We're special people. You fought courageously for our country, and now my administration is fighting courageously for you. That's for sure. And you know, we've accomplished a lot, we've done a lot, and one of the things we have done is you get that medical care quickly now when you go into those doctors, and you used to have to wait for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you don't wait anymore. You go out and see a private doctor, and we pay the bill. And people are really happy about it, and the vets are very happy about it. Veterans' Choice is, you've been trying to get that for 44 years, they say. 44 years. I guess it's longer than that, probably earlier than that, but for 44 years at least that we know of. And you got it, so congratulations. Hopefully you don't have to use it too often because you're going to feel great, okay? To every veteran here today, all across our land, thank you for your noble and incredible service. It's an honor, really, of my life. I understand that I'm the first commander-in-chief, first president to address you and be here, and that's something that's very special. And it's also an honor to be the commander-in-chief of the greatest fighting force the world has ever known, the United States military. And it's stronger today. And it's a lot stronger today than it was 2.5 years ago, I can tell you that. A lot stronger today. A lot stronger. $700 billion we spent, and then $716 billion, that's with a B. And this year it's $738 billion. So we've rebuilt your military, and it's stronger than ever before. And that was really needed. It was depleted, it was tired, it was exhausted. And you know that better than I do, but we have totally rebuilt it. I want to thank your outstanding national commander, Reed Riley, as well as your terrific executive director, Joe Shenley. Where is Joe? Joe, thank you. Where's Joe? Thank you, Joe. That's not a very good seat for you, Joe. Get that mention right up top, and look, see? You want to give other people the better seats. I like that type of person, right? Thank you, Joe. It's also my privilege to recognize your national first vice commander, the highest ranking woman in AMVETS history, retired Air Force Senior Master Sergeant Jan Brown. Jan. Thank you, Jan. Congratulations as well to this year's recipients of the Silver Helmet Awards, especially a dear friend who is an inspiration to all Americans, World War II veteran and Medal of Honor recipient, Woody Williams. There's Woody. Thank you, Woody. You're looking good, Woody. Woody's looking good. That was a big day. Medal of Honor. Nothing like the Medal of Honor. I wanted one, but they told me I don't qualify. I said, can I give it to myself anyway? They said, I don't think that's a good idea. Great, great people. These are great, great men and women that get the Congressional Medal of Honor. Thank you, Woody. We are unbelievably grateful to all of the members of AMVETS and Ladies Auxiliary. They've worked so hard, and the sons of AMVETS and the junior AMVETS, and of course, the legendary AMVETS writers who are fighting to keep alive the spirit of Rolling Thunder. I love Rolling Thunder, that noise. Wow. Rolling Thunder. We're taking care of Rolling Thunder since I've been there. Rolling Thunder, please stand up. You have so many great people. So many great people. Thank you. Thank you. And the leaders are all here, too. Thank you. And we'll see you in a little while in Washington. And to honor the prisoners of war and those missing in action, today we renew our vow that America will never, ever forget. It's a great, thank you. Great to be joined by a number of champions for Americans veterans, including Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos. Betsy, doing a great job. Deputy VA Secretary James Byrne. James, thank you. Great job. A man who has really done a great job. I don't know if he's appreciated. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but he's done an incredible job. And your state is doing phenomenal business, and I want to take all of the credit, but I can't because I have to give him a lot too, because he has been a truly great governor, Matt Bevin. Thank you, Matt. And you know, Kentucky has record numbers right now. It's the best year they've ever had in just about every category, so it's really an incredible thing. And a man who I just watched on television, he's so good. You can do television for me anytime you want. Congressman Thomas Massey. Where's Thomas? Good job. Thomas, say hello to our friends. Say hello to our friends back in Washington. That was a good job. Just watched you. I cannot come to Kentucky without also praising the exceptional work of Senator Mitch McConnell. I have to tell you, this guy is a true fighter for our veterans and for Kentucky. He's worked tirelessly to enact massive tax cuts, record defense spending, and crucial VA reform that I was just talking about. And I have to think yet, of all the things with respect to Mitch, he's a good person, but his leadership in the Senate, we've confirmed, think of this, almost 150 federal judges to uphold our nation's beloved Constitution and the foundation of American freedom. And Mitch and I have worked very hard. We're up to 150. Within about 2 months, we'll be at 179 federal judges and 2 Supreme Court judges. And it's your senator, and it's for him, that's a passion like I've never seen before. And there is nothing more important. You know, when I became president, they said the most important thing you can do is judges. And in particular, they said Supreme Court justices. Well, as you know, we've named 2 Supreme Court justices, right? Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Gorsuch. And I want to just congratulate Mitch McConnell. And you have him. You have him. And he's a champion, and he fights hard. And he really is something special. And he loves your state. And I'll be here campaigning for Mitch, and I'll be campaigning for Matt. And we're going to get them both back in. And I just had to say, because Mitch has been somebody very special, and Matt knows that as well. This year, we commemorated the 75th anniversary of D-Day, June 6, 1944, when thousands of American patriots stormed the beaches of Normandy and charged through the fires of hell to ensure the survival of liberty. This year also marks the 75th anniversary of the organization that took care of those victorious veterans when they returned, and every generation of veterans since. Incredible job. Today we celebrate AMVETS for 75 years of love and loyalty and lifelong service to our military personnel, to our veterans, and to their families. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you. AMVETS posts across the nation have become pillars of pride in our community, so true, and shining symbols of the enduring power of the American spirit. Your support of our troops overseas, it welcomes them when they come back home, and you welcome them, and you're there for them in every way, medically, physically, morally. You're with them all the way, and they appreciate it much more than you would even know. You safeguard our values, pass on our traditions, and teach generation after generation to love our country, honor our heroes, and always respect our great American flag. We gather today at a truly incredible time for our nation. We are reawakening American pride, American confidence, and American greatness. We are America first. It's about time, too. It's about time, wouldn't you say? We hear America first. You didn't used to hear that. You didn't used to hear that too much, right? You didn't used to hear it at all, come to think of it. You hear it a lot now. Hope you don't get sick of it. I don't think you will. Not this group. Not too many people in our country would feel that way. We're respected again as a nation. We're respected again. We're restoring the fundamental principles that government and its first obligation is the highest loyalty is to our citizens. It's the loyalty to our citizens that really is that first obligation. No longer will we sacrifice America's interests to any foreign power. In all things, we are putting our country first. We are saying, let's say, make America great again, but we're almost there where we say, make America great again. We may have to switch it. You know what we're going to switch it to, right? Huh? That's right. That's right. I won't say it here because this is not a campaign speech. It's not a campaign speech. I will not say, keep America great, but we're going to keep America great. We're going to keep America. That's a lot of press back there. Look at all of them. Wow. That's a lot of cameras going. Look at all those red lights on there. The red lights means you're on. When the lights are off, you can get a little sleepy back here and take it easy. Nowhere is this patriotic allegiance more essential than fulfilling our duty to the American warrior and to the American veteran. We are upholding our nation's solemn pledge to protect those who protect us, and they've protected us brilliantly. With America's core interests guiding us as we do, we are making unprecedented strides. Our incredible American warriors have pulverized the bloodthirsty killers of ISIS. We defeated 100% of the caliphate in Syria. We're holding thousands of ISIS fighters right now, prisoners, and we're going to give them from where they came, certain countries in Europe. They got to take them back because we don't want to hold them. We've got to give them back. We're fighting for other people. We got to give them back. They got to take them. They'd rather have us hold them and let us have them for 50 years. We don't want them. We don't want them. They should take them. Do we agree? They should take them. They say to us, why don't you hold them in Guantanamo Bay for 50 years and you just hold them and spend billions and billions of dollars holding them? And I'm saying, no, you got to take them. We fought We have them captured. They're all captured. Thousands. ISIS. But now Europe has to take them, and different countries where they came from have to take them. Do we agree with that? I was just curious as to what you thought. We withdrew from the horrible Iran nuclear deal, horrible deal. We brought home the remains of our fallen North Korean war heroes. We brought them home, so many of them, and many more are coming, so they can rest alongside their brothers and sisters in American soil. We believe in our sacred responsibility to ensure no one is left behind, right? We're rebuilding the awesome might of the United States military with these big budgets that I just described. And think of it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And we're very proud of it. We're very proud of it. And those in the military are very proud too. Beautiful, new, the best equipment in the world. We make the best planes. We make the best missiles. We make the best ships. We make the best everything. And it also, in this case, secondarily, it also happens to be made in the USA, every inch of it, and it's called jobs, jobs, jobs. That's secondary, but it's important. And the Army will very soon have 300 powerful new M1 Abrams tanks. The Navy is deploying the most advanced class of aircraft carriers in history. With hundreds of brand new F-35s and F-18s, American airmen will continue to own the skies wherever we fly. We have the greatest Air Force in the world. And we're preparing to dominate the newest warfighting domain by establishing a sixth branch of the armed forces. It's called the Space Force. We need that, the Space Force. And that's moving along through approval, and it's become very, very popular. People see it now more than they did 2.5 years ago. They see it now, and they know how important it is for defense and offense and for everything. We've delivered the largest pay raise in years for every soldier, sailor, airman, Coast Guardsman, and Marine in the United States military, one of the largest increases. Our active duty personnel are the best equipped, best trained, most technologically advanced fighting force in the history of the world. The best equipment in the world, best training in the world. America is a peace-loving nation. We seek friendship, we seek harmony, not conflict and division. But if we are threatened, we will never hesitate to defend our people as they should be defended. And if our enemies should dare to fight us, they will be crushed with overwhelming American might. No adversary stands a chance against the awesome power of the red, white, and blue. There is no military even close to ours. You know, you read all sorts of things, well, maybe this country, maybe that. It's only propaganda put out by different areas and different countries. There is nothing close, and they all know it. And they tell me that. They tell me that. There's nobody close. And we have to keep it that way. And we don't want to have to use it. We don't want to have to use it, but we have to have it just in case, right? The members of our armed forces, and you understand that very well, the members of our armed forces have always lived by the word of Douglas MacArthur. In war, there is no substitute for victory. We have an armed forces that's unparalleled, and to achieve victory, there is no substitute for the unmatched character and courage of those who proudly wear the nation's uniform. And we even have different uniforms. Did you see some of the different designs of the uniforms? We're going back to a style and a look that nobody thought we'd go back to because of expense, and now we have brand new, the most beautiful uniforms you've ever seen. But much more importantly are the people that wear that uniform, what's inside that uniform. That's much more important. Much more. That's the best in the world. Every warrior who serves has poured out, and they have poured out their hearts and souls for America. We believe their government must show them the same devotion in return, and we've been doing that, at least in the last 2.5 years we have. Can you believe it's almost 3 years now? Because I've been saying 2.5 years now for a number of months. And we're getting close to 3. I'll have to be changing it to 3 very soon. After years of neglect, we're fixing the heartbreaking failures from the last administration at the Department of Veterans Affairs. America must never abandon our heroes in their hour of need. We'll never do that. For that reason, I proudly signed into law the groundbreaking VA Accountability Act. Thank you. And that was another one. They wouldn't do it. 40 years, 50 years, they wouldn't do it. You couldn't get it done. And I won't blame unions, and I won't blame civil service. I won't blame any of it. But man, was there power against it. It was tough, and I got it done. Now somebody mistreats you or mistreats people in the VA, and we know what happens, right? It's called, you're fired. Stand up, please. Stand up. Here's the man that implements it. You're fired. Get out of here. Get out of here. You couldn't fire anyone for virtually any reason. They could do anything. So we have the Accountability Act, and we've removed more than 7,600 bad employees who failed to give our vets the care they so richly deserve. 7,600. Think of that. They were treating some of them, no, most of them are fantastic, but some of them were treating our people, our great heroes, so badly, sadistic, terrible people. They were terrible people, and they're gone. They're fired. They would never have been fired. 7,600. I didn't know you were that vicious to get rid of that many. And everyone deserves to be out, right? Good. That was a big deal. That was a hard one to get. And as I said, and something that I guess I'm most proud of, because, I don't know, accountability was very important. Some people think it was as important, maybe not. But most significantly, the VA reforms, we did the Veterans' Choice, and that's, I don't know which was more difficult. They were pretty much equal. But since I took office, nearly 3 million veterans have been able to choose a private doctor in their own community. And have you ever seen, and this is a great tribute to the people at the VA, the people and the leadership of the VA, I don't hear these horror stories. You know, I used to see, as growing up, I'd see VA, VA, VA. I don't want to, you know, well, let me find some wood. Wait. I'm not hearing bad stories. I'm hearing all good stories. But the fake news will go out. They'll find somebody in the system. They'll find somebody. They'll find somebody in this giant medical system, the largest system in the world by far. They're going to find somebody that wasn't treated perfectly. And he'll be on the top of the news tonight. We have breaking news. We've also slashed wait times at the VA by more than 33%. That's a great thing. And the care is better, more importantly. The care is even better. A recent study published in the Journal of American Medical Association found that wait times are now shorter for primary care at the VA than at private sector doctors and hospitals. How about that? Good job. Say hello to our friend. Tell him he's doing a good job. He's done some job. What a job all of you have done. To improve the efficiency at the VA, I signed the Veterans Appeals Improvement and Modernization Act. You know what that is? So far this fiscal year, the VA has processed nearly 1.2 million claims for compensation and increased the number of appeals decisions by 70% compared to 2 years ago when I really started doing this. That's a big number. We are modernizing your medical records to begin a seamless transition from the Department of Defense into the VA, something that they just said they couldn't do. You know that, right? They said, we can't do it. It's just too complicated. We did it. The VA has also cut opioid prescriptions by 30% over the last 2.5 years. And we're committed to defeating the opioid epidemic in America, and I've instructed all of our people that give so many grants to lots of geniuses all over the country. I said, find a painkiller that's non-addictive. Get a painkiller that when you break your arm and you go to the hospital, you don't come out of the hospital addicted to opioids. Get a painkiller that's non-addictive. And we're closer than you think, right? We're closer than you think. Our veterans are seeing dramatic improvements in the quality of care across the board. Patients' trusts have increased. I mean, you look at the trust that the patients give, increased at 92% of VA medical centers, 92% increase at the medical centers, and we will not rest until we reach 100%, and we'll get there too. We'll get there. Probably there already. Probably we're there already. No issue facing our veterans is more urgent than ending the national crisis of veterans suicide. My administration is determined to do everything in our power to save the lives of our heroes. And if you think about what's going on, we have a new, I guess you'd call it a drug that came out, Johnson & Johnson, and I know you're dealing very strongly with them. I think they should make a contribution to the United States of America, but they have something that, whatever it may do, it really takes that horrible anxiety, whatever causes somebody to be so desperate to commit suicide. You take it, it's an inhaler, and you take it, and its results are incredible. I don't know long term, but it really has an incredible effect on a lot of people. And I've instructed the top officials to go out and get as much of it as you can from Johnson & Johnson. And I think they should they've done so well in this country and they've made so much money. I think they should give it to us for free. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. No, but it's incredible, actually. It does something pretty amazing. It's new, and it's had a tremendous, and it's been approved. I guess it's been fully approved, right? It's gone through the process, and it's gone through a long process. It's been fully approved. We think that's going to have a great impact. We've secured a record $8.6 billion for mental health services, and we opened, it's a record, we opened the White House VA hotline to help ensure no claim ever again falls through the cracks. I mean, a lot of claims were having a lot of problems going on for years. We work it out. The VA is now providing same-day emergency mental health care and mental health screenings to every patient that walks through the door. It's incredible, the difference between now and 3 years ago. To end the tragedy of veteran suicide, it will require government and society at all levels working together. We have to work together with a lot of different groups, a lot of people, and a lot of progress is being made, but going to be made. Things are happening. We must strive to build communities that truly serve, support, and protect our veterans from the very first moment they return to civilian life. It's an incredible adjustment. That's exactly what we aim to achieve with the PREVENTS initiative. You know what the PREVENTS initiative is? A task force created earlier this year to unify the efforts of government, business, and nonprofit groups. We want to build on proven strategies like the AMVETS Heal. You know what AMVETS Heal? You know what it is. You told me about it. Program. An amazing partnership with the VA that has served over 600 families in crisis in just the last year without a single life lost to suicide, not one. To every veteran who is facing this struggle, I want you to know that you are not alone. We are with you. You are not forgotten, not at all forgotten. We're with you all the way. And you are not beaten. You will overcome, you will prevail, you will triumph, and you will thrive. You will thrive. A lot of progress has been made. So many different things we're making progress in. Millions of Americans are right by your side. and we are with you every single step of the way. One of those Americans is someone that you know very well, Jim Pigeon, a Navy veteran and former national commander of AMVETS. Jim, where's Jim? Come on up here, Jim. Come on up here, Jim. For the past 1,257 consecutive days, Jim has challenged Americans to join him in doing 22 push-ups. Don't challenge me. Don't make me do that. Representing the number of veterans whose lives in each, think of that, 22 representing, that's the number of suicides a day. Can you believe it? I heard that number and I said, it can't be possible. You would think a year, a month, a day. Nobody can believe it. Nobody believes that, Jim. Thousands of patriots have joined him in raising awareness, and together they are summoning the national will to act. And I want to thank Jim. Jim, say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's what an honor to be here. I would not be able to do this without the support, the love, and the prayers of my beautiful wife, Paulette.
Got strong arms. Just tap them. It's like a piece of steel. Thank you, Jim. No one deserves the blessings of freedom more than the heroes who risk their lives to defend it. For this reason, my administration has worked aggressively to boost veterans' employment, and we're setting records. Since my election, we have reduced the number of unemployed veterans by 37%. That's pretty good. Veterans' unemployment has reached the lowest level ever recorded. You ever hear that? That's big. Same thing with African American unemployment. Same thing with Asian unemployment. Same thing with Hispanic unemployment. Same thing with many other groups. It's been amazing. To every employer in America, we say, if you are looking for a worker of unrivaled skill, integrity, and devotion, all you have to do is hire a veteran. That's what's happening, and they're doing it. I have a friend who's been doing it lately, and he said, why didn't I do this 25 years ago? I said, that's your problem. He's very happy. Every service member has the right to return to civilian life with dignity and security, and that's what's happening. Driven by this core principle, we have helped 30,000 veterans find permanent housing over the last 2 years. 30,000. We have also expanded the GI Bill so that veterans can use their benefits to get an education at any point in their lifetime, a crucial reform to expand opportunity to veterans in every stage of their career. That's a big thing. And today I'm proud to announce that I am taking executive action to ensure that our wounded warriors are not saddled with mountains of student debt. In a few moments, I will sign a memorandum directing the Department of Education to eliminate every penny of federal student loan debt owed by American veterans who are completely and permanently disabled. Incredible. Nobody can complain about that, right? Nobody can complain about that. The debt of these disabled veterans will be entirely erased. It'll be gone. Going to sleep well tonight. Altogether, this action will wipe out an average of $30,000 in debt owed by more than 25,000 eligible veterans who have made immense sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifice in many ways for our nation. They've made a sacrifice that's so great, and they're such incredible people, and they never complain. They never complain. That's hundreds of millions of dollars in student debt held by our severely wounded warriors. It's gone forever. I want to thank Secretary DeVos for her leadership in making veterans debt forgiveness a top priority for the Department of Education. Betsy, thank you very much. Stand up, Betsy. Stand up. And there will be no federal income tax on the forgiven debts. So that's really big stuff. It's all passed. It's all passed. All we have to do is sign it, which we're going to do right at that beautiful desk. Okay? All we have to do. Today, I'm also calling upon all 50 states to immediately waive all applicable state taxes as well. The state taxes hopefully will be going away very quickly. Most of the states have already agreed to do that. Joining us today is one of the many American heroes who will benefit from this action, Catherine Castle. Amazingly, Catherine served in 3 different branches of the armed forces, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Wow, you're going to have to tell me which is the best, please. I want to know which is the best. Which is the best? Don't say it. Don't say it. She may say it and I'll be in big trouble. Please say a few words. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. This is an amazing relief on my family, as well as I know many thousands of veterans as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Catherine. After 2 tours in Iraq, Catherine developed multiple serious health conditions, very, very serious, related to her service, including significant lung problems. Despite these obstacles, Karen is now pursuing a degree at the University of Nevada. Catherine, we are really profoundly grateful for your service and for your immense sacrifice. You've been incredible, and thank you, and it's great to have gotten to know you. And everybody in this room is very proud of you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Catherine. Veterans like Catherine, who have made such enormous sacrifices for our country, should not be asked to pay any more. Rather, it is America who owes our heroes a supreme debt of gratitude. So that's the way we feel. Across oceans, jungles, mountains, and deserts, and battlefields, and enemy camps across the globe, our veterans fought and bled to vanquish our enemies and preserve America's birthright of freedom. Our country, our liberty, our families, our homes, our safety, our very lives, everything that matters, and everyone who we hold dear are sacred and just sacred to us and secured by the grace of God and the immortal courage of those who serve. The story of the American veteran, and I call them the American warrior because that's what they are, the great warriors, is the story of the American nation. You have written our history, shaped our identity, forged our destiny, marched us to glory, and always planted the righteous flag of American victory. You have filled our enemies with dread. You have filled our friends with hope. And you have filled our American heart with fierce patriotic pride. Because of you, America is safe. Because of you, America is strong. Because of you, America is free. And because of you, America will forever remain the bravest, mightiest, and greatest nation on the face of the earth. Thank you. Thank you. Because of you. Because of you. I would now like to ask AMVETS leaders to come forward. Secretary DeVos, please come forward. Deputy Secretary Byrne, Governor Bevin, Sergeant Catherine Castle, and Sergeant Nick Stefanik to join me on stage as I sign the presidential memorandum facilitating the cancellation of student loan debt for 25,000 of our most severely disabled veterans. And with today's order, we express the everlasting love and loyalty of a truly grateful nation. God bless our veterans, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Should I do it?